Good morning, everybody. The single biggest mistake that students of improvising make is that they don't know what to play, but they play anyway. Hey, good Sunday morning to all of you. I hope today's session finds each and every one of you in a great place. All right. This applies to beginners, certainly even me, back in high school when I was beginning to learn the ropes of improvising, right? In a school setting, high school setting. Uh, Intermediate, even advanced students will often just dive right in and have no idea of what they're saying. They'll fill up all the space, every inch of space available to them with, your blues scales, your arpeggios, scales, maybe a couple of borrowed licks, a little bit of jazz language here and there, which doesn't hurt, right? Right, and by the end of it, the solo, you've got something that's maybe it might have been good, might have it might have worked, but half the time it doesn't work, right? Why do we do this? This is such a good question, and I'm glad you asked it. Why would we approach a solo that way? Why would we think, well, I got to play the changes. Well, I got to blah blah blah. I got to do this. I got to do that. Why? Well, because that's what you've been taught to do. You have been taught to solo that way. I'm going to give you the answer right now. Improvising is composing. Go write that down, would you? Improvising is composing, albeit in the moment, on the fly, right? But improvising is composing. Now, before we dive into this subject, I want to talk to you about Zoom lessons. I'm still offering them at the massive discount. You can use DGM-1 and find out more. That's your discount code. Find out more at davegoodsacks@gmail.com. Reach out to me or leave a comment in the comments below. davegoodsacks@gmail.com. DGM stands for Dave Good Music, if you haven't figured that out yet. DGM-1, and I will get back to you. How we do this is we set up an hour, and we'll do a little Zoom session together. But first of all, we go over the protocol, setting up your actual your equipment so that you can play and not beat the Zoom limiters to death, and I won't be able to hear you. But the first place we start is with a phone call. We get that phone call going, so I can hear what you got, what you want, where you want to go, all the above, and then I can decide if I can help you. If I can, I will. If I can't, I say thank you and take a pass. I can't help everybody, and I cannot help beginners to the saxophone. You need to find a human being to sit in a room with, and that person can watch you do all the things that we have to do to make a saxophone create noise. All right, after you've been at it for a while and you're making music, you can circle back. Be happy to help you, but beginners, not so much. Intermediate and advanced students, I can help you out. davegoodsacks@gmail.com. All right, where were we? Back to improvising. Improvising is composing music, right? You haven't been taught to do that. That no one taught you. I have found, I've been a YouTuber and a follower of YouTube for a very long time, and there are new lessons. I mean, there are people like me posting lessons all the time, and I've yet to find one about composing, how to compose music. How do you compose music? So let's just, in my own sort of rough-hewn way, let's go back to high school. You were in high school once, and you had to write a lot of essays, didn't you? Imagine, writing an essay, and you fill up pages with great sentences, right? Great, great sentences, lots of real cool words, and maybe you even lift a little bit of Hemingway, or you borrow some John Keats or some prose, or tack a little poetry in the essay, and you get it back. You're feeling good about this when you hand it in, but you get it back and it's just red penciled up the kazooie, and you're like, what happened here? Well, same thing. The same thing applies to soloing. You didn't actually write a story. You didn't actually write an essay, right? You used the tools, all right? Knowing the alphabet, knowing the language, and knowing grammar. Those are the tools, a means to an end. What is the end? Composition. Composition has a thought, a beginning and a middle and an ending, right? In music, we might say, a dramatic device to get this started. It's got a midpoint where we create tension, and it's got an end where we resolve that tension. I mean, that's in a nutshell. I mean, like I said, we're going to simplify this. I want to do that for you. So that's again, we teach you how to improvise, how to, or the blues scale, right? The training wheels of improvising. Pentatonic scales, all that. Learn all that stuff. Yeah. Well, you do. You need to know the alphabet in order to write a check for your rent, don't you? Right? It'd be very difficult to text your boyfriend or your girlfriend a love note if you sucked at the alphabet. So sure, you need to know the tools, and you need to know a little grammar so that you don't, go off the rails here. Same with saxophone, all right, or any instrument that you play, right? You got to know how you just the tools, right? And those are things, but again, learning them and focusing on them in the beginning, like, how to master the 251. If you can't play a solo, if you can't create, if you cannot compose, put that book away. All right, just put it away. What do you care about that? At this point, you don't, right? It's like grabbing a saxophone and wanting to learn altissimo before you could actually play, like, say, a low B flat or other notes like that. So anyway, I refer to my notes over here. Hold on, don't go away. I gotta have notes these days because I don't want to just continue to ramble. Composing on the fly, all right? Composing in the moment, and that's the big tomato right there. That's it. Composing in the moment is improvising. Now, of course, you have all of these tools and these ideas and these things that are in your mind that you get to access and use. And preferably, you're not composing cold. You're not going into a song cold unless you're very, very, very experienced, right? And you have great composure and your stage fright is handled and all that. No, not so much. This whole trip is not about you sitting in, your room, looking at a YouTube video. I just dated myself, YouTube upload, and learning that by yourself in your saxophone. I mean, if that pleases you, cool, but we'd prefer that you get out and you play with people, okay? And composing on the fly, right? It means that you have to learn to do things that you perhaps aren't doing right now. How do you do those, Dave? Again, great question. I'm glad you asked it. Number one, all right, here's how to learn. Here's how to compose. Here are the basic nuts and bolts of composition, okay? Number one, listen to bucket loads of music. If you're not listening to music, and I swear to you, I stand up sometimes in front of classes and I'll say, hey, show of hands, who's listening to blah, 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 and nobody. They're like, I don't listen to music. Well, there's a lot of real good music being made today. It's just transmitted and it's listened to in a different way than we did back when we were kids, but there's still great music out, but people aren't really listening to it in a communal sense. You got to do that. You have a turntable? Do you have a CD player? There's an Antica. Spotify. Make your own Spotify channel and listen to it. And I'm not talking about, I'm driving in the car, or I'm doing stuff, I'm doing my homework, I'm at work, I'm shuffling papers, and I'm listening to this background noise. But I do have a student that kind of works for it. She stops and she says, if I hear something I like, I'll grab my horn. Works at home, and she can grab her horn, which is handy, right? Pick it up and cop that, whatever it is, play along with that. And she's progressing very well. That may not work for you. And in fact, I would really like for you to do a more applied sense of listening. I mean, really do some listening. And I'm not talking about listening to, John Coltrane or whatever, or Michael Brecker or any of that. That's great. Good for them. Good for you. But I'm talking about listening to music. I don't care if you put John Denver on. I don't care. I want you to listen to music. John Denver songs have a beginning, a middle, and an ending, right? They move on chord progressions. Those might be cowboy chords, but still, You've got something, but listen to the Police. Those guys, Sting. I don't honestly. Again, let's not be jazz snobs here. And I'm the last guy to be a jazz snob. I want you to listen to whatever it is. Ella Fitzgerald, gospel music, anything, polka. What do we care? We don't. Listen, 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 and listen again. All right. Now, with all the guys I've really played with and the masters I've gotten to know over the years of working in music journalism as a day job and music TV and radio, I've gotten to know a lot of heavyweight people, and they all knew a lot of songs. In other words, they could play just about anything. If you read the history of the Beatles, they learned a ton of songs and they played them for hours, 3, 4 sets at clubs, not their own songs. They played, stuff that they'd learned. Everybody that really becomes a good improviser, good soloist, good improviser, right, knows a lot of material, has listened that carefully and memorized. Now, that's the word, memorization. You memorize songs. All right, you too. This is step 2. Number 1, listen your buns off. Number 2, memorize some songs. All right, grab your horn. Let me set up here. The brass is cold. It's chilly this morning. Chilly, yeah, relative. Yeah, what are we, like 58 degrees here? You're minus 13. We're not chilly. We're baking in the sun here. It's not me, it's the read. You get to say that too. All right. Pick up a song. Pick up a song. Memorize. Good. In fact, why don't you make it a goal right now to pick 6, and pick 6. Pick across the board. You don't have to learn all the Charlie Parker heads. Just pick 6. Pick one you like. Maybe pick a gospel tune. They have. I just want you to memorize 6. Pick, from different genres. Pick an Adele song. Pick a Madonna song. I don't care what you do. A Police song. Anything. Pick any melody that you like that you listen to. Could be jazz. Could be out of the real book. Whatever you got. Pick 6. 6, 6, 6, 6. And why don't you set a goal? I don't know how quickly you can learn things, but just set a goal. 1 a week, 1 a month, whatever it is. Memorize 6. Why? Because there's so much information in just songs, right? Songs, well, they're made of scales now, aren't they? Songs are made from scales. Think about that. The melody is like your roadmap. The melody is a way that composer has solved a lot of the problems of creating motion and creating a story, right, with notes. The harmony are the rules of engagement, sharps, flats, the movement of the music. How does everything move? Do we have an A-B-A form, an A-A-B-A form, whatever it is? You will learn so much just by memorizing songs. And I mean memorizing. I mean memorizing. I mean memorizing. Don't just look at the page. Get the hell off that page or learn by ear. All right? All right, that's 2. Listen is 1. Memorize is 2. And 3, none of this is going to work if you don't sing, if you can't sing an idea and find it on your saxophone. If you cannot sing an idea and find it on your saxophone, you're swimming upstream here. And I talked about this in lessons before, and I'm bringing it back up again because you didn't do it. Nobody does. Nobody ever does. But this is huge. This is not my exercise. I gained this by watching. I've learned on the bandstand, that I've learned and had the benefit of sitting with so many wonderful teachers over the years. And I get to share that with you now. Sing and find it on your horn. But not just sitting around the house. Well, you can do, that's a way to break the ice. Let's do Let me see if I can find something here for 3 blind mice. There we go. 3 blind mice. All right. And it takes a couple of times, don't feel bad about this. I think the average is 4 tries before your basic human finds the note on an instrument. You'll get better at this. You'll get much faster, much quicker, much better at it. But I want you to do it in context. So go to your laptop or whatever you have that generates music, and go to YouTube and find yourself a B flat, boy flat backing track, practice track, like blues. How about boy flat blues? There's be 3 changes, very simple, okay? And I want you to do this in that context. B flat puts my alto sax sisters and brothers will be in G. All right, G dominant, G7. If you're playing tenor or B flat instrument, clarinet, tenor sax, or the dreaded soprano sax, you'll be up in let's see, B flat puts you in C. So you'll be in C dominant, C7, okay? I want you to do that. While the music is tracking, I want you to sing, all right? Now, you may want to wait till everybody leaves the house for the day, but you still got to do it. You got to find some time to do this, okay? And I mean find some time. Give yourself 5 minutes a day for the next 6 days of doing this, like singing a line that goes along with this ba da ba da ba da, whatever it is, and do it in context. Will you suck in the beginning? Probably, but you've been given a lot of wrong information. I mean, you've been told that there was only it was all done before you. You're not ever going to be a John Coltrane or a Michael Brecker or a Charlie Parker or any. That's nonsense. Imagine if nobody played sax after those 3. Like, what a world it would be, right? No, you can make up music. You have the ability to compose. You did it when you were a kid. You walked around the house and you listened to TV shows and you hummed, and then you made up your own variations of those, okay? It's kind of what we're talking about here. Yeah, but somewhere we turned all that off when we believe this nonsense that we're told that we're not able to, and we shouldn't because we can't be as good as. Oh, horse crap. Listen, you guys, you men and women out there have great ideas. You have great ideas. How do I know that? Because people you've never heard in your life every day make great records in their bedrooms, on their laptops, and some of them are recognized and they win awards. So I want you to do that. Just think about it. I mean, you don't have to win. I'm not talking. You don't have to go win a Grammy on me here, but if you do, share it with us. Anyway, you got music in you. That's it. It's not the scales. It's not the arpeggios. I mean, and the thought that you're going to be able to learn scales, arpeggios, and marvelous 2-5-1 patterns and all that, and that somehow that's going to gel into you being able to, compose is nonsense. It's utter nonsense. What's going to create in you is the ability to play those forms when it's your turn to go solo. Solo. Okay, I'll play the arpeggio. I'll start on the 5 and I'll move to the flat 3 and I'll move to the and I'll connect and blah 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 blah. Okay? If you're comfortable sounding like that in your solos, turn me off. Don't even but if you're not, if you want to move ahead and actually create some stuff, think about this. Composing is what improvising really is. Composing with all the tools that you have. Don't mistake the tools for the thing. The hammer is not the house. That was brilliant. DaveGoodSax@gmail.com. We'll talk about Zoom lessons. Give me a shout. Leave some comments below. If this helps you at all, hit that love button, would you? And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Zoom lessons, discount, massive discount. Again, continues into February, and I'm so enjoying meeting those of you I've met already in person. All right, we're at 20 minutes here. Listen, it's Sunday. I'm going to go out front, pull some weeds, trim some bushes, walk a few dogs. I don't know what you've got planned for today, but keep doing good work. Keep in touch. Be good to each other. Be kind. And I'll catch you again next Sunday. Thank you so much for being here.